This is Theodore, and I am a solo monster for the power source.
Making every level an epic level. You're listening to The Power Source. Welcome, Gamer Nation. You are tapped into The Power Source. Yes, welcome back to The Power Source. I think I've noticed that I always say yes after that. I don't know why. I think it's some kind of self-affirmation that I do indeed exist, and that The Power Source is not a figment of my imagination. I do that sometimes. All right, so... welcome back to The Power Source, wherein we make every level an epic level, or if you are taking the proper dosage, every level will be epic. If you're not, then you may be causing the unepic germs in your body to become immune to the Power Source antibiotic, whatever. All right, today is November the 27th, 2010, and this is episode 47, which I am doing completely alone. So you get to listen to me and no one else for the next, I don't know, I'll probably go for 3 hours. I'm joking. Joining me today is none other than Ted Jared Baker. How are you doing today, Ted?
I am doing magnificently.
That's awesome. That's awesome, Ted.
How are you doing, Jared?
I'm doing completely awesome. I just read something on the chat just now.
Indeed.
One of our other hosts who haven't spoken up yet, who hasn't spoken up yet, thought I was going to say I'm doing the show completely nude. And
little known fact, I do every episode nude.
That's awesome. That added a whole new life to the show and a lot of meaning to why one of our episodes was named Sensual Fireballs. All right, also joining us is, you know him, you love him, and I've used this so many times before that it almost has no meaning. None other than Ryven Cedrylle. How you doing today, Ryven?
I am alive, much to my continued surprise, and some would say against my best efforts.
I can't top that. That is awesome, and the other half would say that they're against my best efforts.
Quite possibly.
And finally, yes, this is a foursome, this particular episode, and since apparently a large portion of this podcast is nude, that takes on additional meanings, is none other than Casey Peavler. How are you doing today?
I'm metabolizing nutrients, Jared.
Brilliant. That's a good idea. You know, so few people do that nowadays. I have to wonder about the direction of our society. Is anybody there? Does anybody care?
You know, so Jared, I was just thinking, you said a foursome. I'm thinking a 4G sounds a little better. Let's call it a 4G.
Like the data network, right?
You mean like T-Mobile?
You know, if this were Foursquare, we could be getting coupons from the places that we're mayors of. That's a pretty common trend nowadays.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I dig that. I'll do that. Yeah, 4G sounds great. I'm just kidding. If it comes with free coupons, then I'm okay with that. So, gentlemen, I need to ask you how your week in gaming is going. Mainly because I'm thinking Ted and I are on the same page. Are we on the same page, Ted?
I wish we weren't, Jared.
Yeah, me too. Which is to say that we haven't played D&D for a little while, but we still love it, and we still read about it, and we still imagine ourselves playing it. You might say we have fantasies of fantasy. Ryven, why don't you tell us about your week in gaming? This is already going to be like an explicit episode. This is going to be our first explicit episode. Congratulations, Jared. You have ruined the minds of young children.
Sorry. Everywhere. Well, just like you and Ted are on the same page, Casey and I are more or less on the same page, at least in my opinion, because he's in my game. Oh. So to talk about my game is sort of to hear both my end and Casey's end of it. The highlights, I think, from our last session was the group tamed a wyvern and turned a rotten mango into a puppy dog, and convinced an apprentice to give them a component to cast a ritual that caused the group to be teleported to a succubus's lair, whereupon she is handing somebody a very nasty-looking sword and looking just generally malevolent. But I'll let Casey give his half of that story.
I like any story that involves a succubus. I'm just kidding.
I got to play a guest character because it wasn't technically my half of the group. I got to play an insane enchantment mage Kenku who just is this just foul homeless thing who spews nonsense and meaningless phrases constantly.
Unless you're hypnotized by him, in which case you understand everything perfectly.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And
then
what exactly type of do you say a mage or a wizard?
Mage, the essentials class.
You son of a gun. You traitor. How can you...
Boo!
Traitor.
I've always been on the essential side, guys. I've been on the essential side since 4th edition came out.
Okay, hold on.
Oops,
We're going to come to this in Divine News. Wait, whoa.
Dang it.
We're going to come to this in Divine News. Let's keep it to the gaming.
Okay.
Back off.
That's actually not true. It's not until
Switch up
emerging
for a
from the shadows.
Oh, emerging from the shadows. But you know what I mean.
Yeah,
so,
I did.
And I had a game that I picked up the Monster Vault. My wife got it on for me on eBay for like $17. And that comes with this nifty little 4th level adventure. So I called my buddy Ryan and said, "Hey, let's play this game tonight." He goes, "Okay, I'm bringing a friend." So we're all sitting around statting up characters. He brings this lady friend of his. And we're about to come full circle to the beginning of the show. Midway through statting up characters, she perks up and says, "I'm kind of sore in places. Can we play naked?"
What?
I'm like, "Well, I mean, your character can be naked." And she goes, "No, I'm serious."
Are you kidding me? Did someone actually say that at your gaming table, or are you like...
Dear Penthouse, I thought this would never happen to me.
I told Ryven about it. He suggested I make a podcast out of it called Bare Essentials.
It's an actual play. Might actually be actual foreplay at this point, but let's. I can run with these puns all night. Let's keep moving.
Oh my gosh, you guys! This is.
That one might have to be bleeped.
Heaven help me! Yeah, heaven help me if certain people ever listen to this.
We just said 4G, all right? I can say foreplay.
No. You see, you can, and that's just because, but out of context. Dang.
Well,
can I get someone to like make a really, really bad sounding montage of our conversation, because that would be awesome. So, and then I wouldn't have to do it. So, it's been a long time since we have one of those. I really like them.
I might be recording as well. I'll see if I have it also.
That would be awesome. All right, fellas, I think that we are done with the beginning of the show, and hopefully we will leave all of this foul talk far, far behind us, where I can easily pick it up and scrape it back to the end of the show. All right, so let's go ahead and move into, what do we have next? Oh, that's right, the same thing as every time. Divine News!
Have you heard the good news, brother?
Divine News. And let's hope that they never heard what we talked about at the beginning of the show, because it's time for Divine News. All right. All right. Divine News. Before we actually get into what we're going to be talking about, which, little hint, has to do with the character builder, the online variety. Before we do that, really quick, we want to give a great big word to our sponsors. And by sponsors, I mean our sponsor, just kidding. None other than Noble Knight Games. They are awesome. I don't know if you've been to the site yet, any of you guys, which I would assume that most of you have, but either way, everyone needs to go in and check this site out. I think that they've got a really nice setup. It's really easy to search. It is actually as Jeff tells me, a brick and mortar store. But they also do a lot of business online, and you should get in on that. So everyone, go ahead and go to www.nobleknight.com. And also, by the way, here's a word from them right now. Hello! Hello, is anyone there?
Sorry, my mic was muted. What do you want?
It is I, Master of the Power Source. Open the gate.
Or?
Well, I don't know. I suppose we'll have to fight.
Hey, what's that?
My THACO.
Your what?
To hit armor class 0, dude.
No, I mean you can't use Advanced Dungeons & Dragons. It's out of print.
Never mind. Just open the gate.
Listen, your lack of normal defense puts us at a serious disadvantage unless we have the rules too, even if you did actually have them yourself.
You might be able to work with 3rd edition saves.
Well, 3rd edition saves may be, but not THACO. That's what I'm trying to say.
Guys,
But then 3rd edition saves had a much different layout.
guys, I bought the AD&D books at Noble Knight.
Oh.
Noble Knight Games, where the out of print is available again. www.nobleknight.com. All right, so that was lots of fun. I know that all of you are always wondering what's going to happen at the end of that, where I get my THACO from. So glad I could.
I just love the noise that tobacco makes.
It's like a helmet closing or something.
You know how long it took me to
I
get it to make that noise? It was an arduous.
Yeah, I make that noise every time I go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I can't help listening to it and thinking that it's like maybe me getting off of a horse or something. But that is.
I assume it's just something you're pulling out of like from the armor, like some big chained implement.
Right. That's what I meant it to sound like. But the more I listen to it, the more it sounds to me like I'm getting down from a horse or something, and I'm all covered in armor. But anyways, yeah, you did hear correctly. And interesting thing, actually, I noticed, you remember the FRP games little spot that we used to do on the show? I don't know if you remember them. They're a great site, yeah. But so they get a little free plug from us this time. But the the funny thing was I had test audiences between the two of them, and it turns out that men are more seem to enjoy the Noble Knight spot better, and women seem to enjoy the FRP games spot better.
That's my THACO.
Yeah, I don't know why. No. The FRP games one, the one where there's lots and lots of Teds and Jareds. So
the Echo in the warehouse with the overstock.
Exactly. So I guess that women just must really like the idea of there being lots and lots of Jareds and Teds to go around. I don't know what you guys think.
I think it's the purchasing. I think that they can buy us and own us is what they like.
I bet that's it. So
what you're saying is it's raining Jareds. Hallelujah.
It is, in fact. So
what were we talking about?
Raining
D&D?
Teds. Hallelujah! It's raining Teds. Amen. All right, I'm good.
What were we talking about? D&D.
We were for a short period of time. This episode has been about everything but. Let's do D&D. No, you don't need the internet to play D&D, but you better have it to build a character, dang it. We are talking about the new shift to the online character builder. That's right. Hooray. It's online. It's a character builder. And I know nothing about it. So actually what I wanted to do, the reason we have both Casey and Ryven on here is kind of, they're going to tell us a little bit about it because, I don't do that anymore.
But
Okay,
first,
Casey,
I'm going to talk about it.
What?
And I'm going to say the deer come and they eat my internet tubes. And I hate the idea of only having character builder online because the deer thwart the internet tubes.
That's a good point.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
Casey, do you like the online character builder or not? Because I'll take the opposite point. Let's just put this out here. I'm going to argue the opposite point, whatever you pick.
Sounds good.
So pick one, and I'll go the other way.
I'll go with yes.
Okay, go for it.
Good choice. Yes, I hate it, or yes, I like it.
Yes.
Perfect. Go ahead.
I think it's while still in its infancy, the tool has a lot of promise in the future. Yes, there are a lot of things that a a lot of players really, really want from this to be there. There were some major bugs the first day of release. There's a few things that still need to be tweaked. But all in all, it does exactly what you want it to do, which is let you build a character.
Right, but
does it really well. I really like.
Couldn't it have done this the other way? I mean, it was still building characters back then. So what? It still builds a character, but what makes this better? That's what I want to know.
One thing that makes this better is that they can be pushing out more frequent updates without having to worry about bandwidth issues. They said they're probably going to still be sticking to one time a month for actual like content. But they can be pushing out new features, bug fixes, like on the fly. And another thing it was designed, which apparently lasted maybe a few days, was to thwart people's ability to pirate the information on the character builder and torrent it. There are still people managing to basically go into the character builder's code and manually input updates, but on the whole, it's nowhere near as convenient as just torrenting, double-clicking, and being done. So I think even though it won't completely stem the tide of pirated character builder updates, it'll at least slow it down and hopefully get a little bit more money into WotC's pockets so we can see the product improve.
That's interesting. Yeah. Okay, Ryven, go ahead and take the opposite side.
Opposite point. First off, the features that it needs to launch as a standalone product aren't there. You can't export your character. You can't share your character with your DM. You can't use the DMG2 inherent bonuses, which is super important for my game. You can't add your own house rules. You can't pick anything that goes against the rules enforcement of the game. This is serious stuff that, yeah, it'll show up later, but if you're going to release a product as finished or very close to finished for D&D and you lack this stuff, no, that is fail to the nth degree. I don't mind the thing necessarily being online, except that it doesn't run off of anything. It runs off of Silverlight, which I can't get to on my wife's smartphone or an iPad, or maybe if I get an Android, I could run it maybe on Android, but it's more difficult for mobile devices. It's harder to port to useful stuff like I play 4E.
Also, who has light bulbs that color? I mean...
Yeah, no, silver. I have like the incandescent, clear white bulb that's supposed to cast more natural light, but not silver.
Yeah, it's really hard to power.
I got one of those silver lightsabers in Force Unleashed 2.
They do.
One of the pre-order boxes.
True. The other problem with the character build that I have is the layout of the character sheet is not conducive to running a character just plain off of like you could do with the classic character builder. In particular, I don't like the way the equipment is set up, either on the sheet where it's really, really small, or in the actual builder itself. It's just kind of down in the corner. It's in a really weird spot. I don't like that the opening bit has you choose defender or leader each time. I mean, I get why that's important for a newbie player. It's relatively annoying for those of us who have played for a long time. And while I agree with Casey that the tool does have potential, I currently rate it fail save ends.
Wow. That's
save ends.
All right. Counterpoint, Casey.
I don't know how much longer I can do this. I'm actually pretty meh about the online character builder.
Oh, okay. So are we getting like?
I feel like I'm doing the. I'm doing the gaming service gaming community a disservice by pretending to be so adamant about it.
And I'll admit to not hating it quite as much as I sound. I think Casey and I are both relatively kind of meh about it, but for the sake of what we're doing here, I'm trying to exaggerate the point. I don't really think there's any farther to go with it. I think you and I have pretty much covered everything that needs to be said about it. You agree, Casey?
Yeah, we've pretty much covered every single flaw and good point about it.
I'm good.
Yeah, while I haven't actually used it, the idea of having to log on to the internet every time I want to make a character is really, really grating to me. So that's I have to agree with Ted there. So just because
I haven't found it that big of a hassle, especially because I run a computer that's on the verge of death, and the online one actually runs faster than my offline one.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. And that would in some
actually,
ways that would help me to like be able to make a character on different computers. But I mean, let me think. How can I put this down? It bothers me in the same way that it bothers me that I have to. For most cases, I have to log into StarCraft 2, on the internet every time. Like, I don't know if you guys play that game, but it's not a huge deal. It's just annoying to know that if my internet goes out, I can't play this game. I can't do what I need to do. I've got to make sure that I've got internet and pay for this service. So, yeah. So I'll just throw that on top. That annoys me a little bit. Okay.
Well, you'd have to have internet to update the old one.
That's true, but only once a month.
And you could run it just off of your local drive, which is nice for certain things.
Right. So, and I never need to convert because, I've still got the old character builder, so I don't really care anymore. All right. Let's move into the next portion of the show, which we will call Emerging from the Shadows. Whoa. I thought that thing was dead. All right. Let's go find it.
Emerging from the shadows.
Uh-oh, the enemy has spotted my hidden position. Guess I'm emerging from the shadows.
Oh, that was good. That was good. Can I also get you to say, and you're caught in the thrall of aberrant rules or something?
And you're caught in the thrall of aberrant rules. This is my announcer voice, just like the guys on role-playing public radio.
Very good. Very good. You know what? It is actually time for Emerging from the Shadows. We aren't going to talk about one product, are we, gentlemen? Unless you count.
Yes, we are.
Unless of course you count all of the Essentials products as one product, which you might. Weren't we done talking about this? We're gonna be talking about Essentials again, because for some reason Wizards of the Coast seems to think that that's like the best thing since sliced bread. So we are here to tear it down once again. Except for some of us. I think Casey actually likes it, but that's okay. He's lost all credibility, basically up to this point.
Hey,
I'm joking.
Not all credibility.
I'm joking. All right, let's talk a little bit about Essentials, because I'd like to hear what you guys think about it.
So
the way
my
that
credibility in the Pez community.
The way that it's gone so far. Well, I guess so far it's pretty much done now. Yeah, let's shall we start with the positive? Do you want to start us off, Casey, or do you want me to tear it down so you can build it back up? What do you want to do?
We'll do that thing you said just now.
The second one?
With the tearing and that one, the latter.
The bad news first, then the good news.
Okay, that sounds fair. All right, if that's the case, then I'm going to avoid nearly all the stuff that I like about Essentials, because there are a few things that I like, but they have very little to do with the things that they're trying to sell you in Essentials. Let's start first off with the classes. First off, they're full of crap as far as it being like exactly okay. So all the claims that they came out with first, that it's more simple than the other ones. The classes are easier to play. That the what was the other one that I just was thinking of 2 seconds ago and now suddenly can't think of. That they're exactly as powerful as the other classes. And I was listening to the most recent Tome show, where they talk about the second part of Essentials, and I wasn't able to be there because I passed out because I had been awake for 40 hours because I stayed up and watched the new Harry Potter film. Totally not worth it, by the way. I didn't like that movie. Did you guys see that movie?
The book wasn't worth it either.
Yeah, no kidding. It was Harry Potter and the very long camping trip all over again. So,
I'm not gonna lie. That book was worse than most fan fiction I've read.
It was pretty bad.
Come on, seriously, that was the Empire Strikes Back of Harry Potter.
Ow!
Empire Strikes Back was awesome. What are you talking about?
It's the only flick that ended on a down note. Every one of the other movies is like, oh, we saved the day, hooray. This one's like, oh crap.
Oh, okay. I can see that. I can see that.
I'm not saying it is the same quality as Empire Strikes Back. I'm saying it is nice to have a Harry Potter movie that doesn't end with all giggles and smiles.
Yeah,
that, I'll give it a couple points.
Yeah, I follow along with that, but I didn't really like. What can I say? The part with Harry and Hermione making out while naked was a little bit like, what? WTF, guys?
Say what? Wait, Hermione was naked in this one?
And yeah.
Oh yeah.
And Harry, you can't.
Movie tickets, honey.
You can't see him.
Movietickets.com.
It was pretty awful. So I did not like it, and it was. Anyways, what is this about Essentials? You know what? Maybe the film sack rule applies here too, where the worse the product is, the more we can't talk about it. All right, more about Essentials. Yeah, I think that was my main problem with it, was that it wasn't what they said it was going to be. It feels like it is a replacement for the classes. That when they said that it's not 4.5, it is. It's very much 4.5. The format for the books is different. The structure of the books is different. And by structure, I mean like they are made up of soft cover rather than hard cover, and a lot of boxes. They look fundamentally different. The classes are written out fundamentally different. The roles are not consigned to certain classes. It's just a different system. I mean, you roll D20s in both 3rd edition and 4th edition. Just because there are powers doesn't mean that it's the same system. Doesn't mean that it's the same role-playing game. It's different. It does its own thing, and that's fine. And there's a couple of things I like. I do like the Monster Vault. That's not true. I like the book in Monster Vault. The rest of the product is crap, and I'm going to burn it shortly. I kept it for the tome show that I didn't end up being on, but I mean to go back and burn it. The DM's kit wasn't worth buying. Let's see, what else can I say that possibly can dissuade anyone from purchasing these products and making the same mistakes that I did. I'm going to hand it over to someone else because I feel like I'm talking in circles. So, Casey, why don't you counterpoint what I've said so far? Oh,
everything you said is completely wrong.
Okay, I disagree, but go ahead.
I honestly can't see that this is, first and foremost, I can't see that this is a new edition, because a new edition would remove options. It hasn't removed any options. I can still play a rogue who I can still play a Harrier rogue. I can still play an arena fighter from Dark Sun. A lot of these classes are easier to pick up and run with. My wife and I both just picked up and ran with 2 Essentials characters earlier this week, and it was super easy. She played a thief with a halfling thief. I played my Bizarre Mage, and we had no problems playing them completely effectively. They work just fine alongside non-Essentials material. The martial classes may not play super nice with multi-classing, but hey, if that qualifies in new edition, I'll concede that point.
Okay. Then you have conceded a point, which is what I like to hear. So from the more middle ground point of view, Ryven, where do you stand?
From the middle ground, here's what I like about okay. I like 4E standing on its own. The classic 4th edition 2-play within the rule set as it is, kind of as it goes, the way the books came out with, whatever errata. I really like Essentials when I start screwing around with things. Of course, as the guy who does Aberrant Rules and writes on the At-Will blog with Quinn, the Essentials stuff is much easier to torque with because there are not as many options.
Yeah, dude.
It makes the game. Here's something that Quinn says a lot that I think will help elucidate my point. 4th edition is an extremely good toolkit game if you can break down if you can take the skin off the bones, as it were, and look directly at the bones. It's incredible toolkit stuff. And I think Essentials does that well. It exposes the soft underbelly, if you will, of 4th edition, and opens up, with the fewer character options, it opens up other parts of the game to be more expressive. You're not thinking quite so much about all the combat powers I have, because I've got maybe 4 or 5 now instead of 12 at any given level.
Right,
especially in counter powers. So I might think more about my skill challenges. I might think more about my role playing or my items or what I'm doing with my wealth. I'm going to plug some at-will stuff here, but you might include different types of powers. Even with the way the assassin, we'll talk about this in a second, uses poisons as their dailies. There's a lot of good mechanics here that I think I would never want to play Essentials straight the way I would play Classic 4E straight, but I love Essentials for, okay, here's the backbone of it. Now here's all this crazy stuff I'm going to throw in. Go.
Okay.
Because it pulls away from the huge character sheet lists of powers and items and junk. So yeah.
Okay.
And I would, if I had to, I would actually call it edition 4.-2. And I'm dead serious about that.
That's
because
weird.
The format is slightly backward. It looks more like a 3rd edition character. With you pick up these things at levels, especially like the clerics and the clerics and the mages. But it still uses the basic 4.0 mathematics, which is to me what determines an edition. I've decided after several months of deliberating, and since it doesn't change the mathematics of the edition all that much. It's still 4 point, but since the format is backward to 3 slightly, I'm calling it 4.-2.
Weird.
I'll agree with Ryven.
And there's my statement on it.
Ted, what do you think?
Well, since you asked, I was thumbing through yours a little bit, and it seems a little bit easier. And if that's what you're looking for, I'm sure that it'll suit you well. But, I've got that tender spot in my heart for 3.5 still. I like the complicated. I like taking time and having thousands of options that you can choose from.
Right.
Yeah, maybe that's an exaggeration, but you get it.
For 3.5, actually, no, that's not an exaggeration.
No.
There are thousands of feats.
I think
as far as
someone
feats go,
calculated
yeah.
up all the races. There was something like 673 races.
Wow.
Well, I guess if you count all the monsters
I like the
too.
complicated.
Yeah.
I like the complicated. I spend a lot of time making a character, and I'm more attached to them from the get-go, rather than some of these 4th edition ones, which I slap together in the character builder and can die in the first encounter, and I don't care, because I'm not attached to them yet.
Yeah.
So it could go either way. If you're just looking, you're a casual gamer maybe, and you just want something fast to slap together and play, this could be for you. But, whatever. Keep it real. Play what you're going to play. Have fun. That's my motto, my adamant religious belief. Have fun with D&D. If you can have fun playing Essentials, play Essentials. If you can have fun playing 4th edition, play 4th edition. If you need to play 2nd edition and that's what gets you, then play 2nd edition. Don't worry about it.
Aye, Captain. I'm a 2nd edition fan myself.
Yeah.
Rule 0.
Yeah. I have to agree with that too. Let me throw in just real quick some things that I like about Essentials. Okay, because I've been overwhelmingly negative, right? I do that a lot. Let me say what I like about it, especially from a designer's standpoint. And I think I've discussed this on the show before. It's really easy to design for this new Essentials format. In a lot of ways, it makes designing much, 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 much easier. I don't know that that's a good thing. I mean, we're the ones that get paid to do the work, right? So I see why they want that, but I can also see, there feels like there's a lull in D&D right now. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I'm seeing that. And it's in my own life. It's in, interest on, in the different forums and, in discussions about it. And a lot of people write to me and say, hey, I'm not getting DDI anymore all the time. It's happening more and more. And it's because there's nothing really there. And I thought that Essentials would be able to at least revitalize a little bit, because you can kind of write new classes and new builds much, much easier. And I'm not seeing that, but let's go back to what I like. Sorry, I can't help myself. I like the new format of the books. I'm not a big fan of the paperback, just because it doesn't feel like D&D to me. It feels like I'm looking at a novel, it's not what I want from my D&D books. I want them to, you know what? There is a stigma that goes with D&D, and I don't mind it. I kind of like carrying around my ginormous books.
Jared, you never played first edition advanced, did you?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I'm a young gamer, though. I started with third edition.
Fun trivia fact that some of you I can already hear you shaking your heads out there, or nodding your heads at me. The original D&D came out in magazine brochure form.
Okay.
Hardcovers did not actually come out for the basic game. And for a while, it didn't come out in the advanced game. A lot of the early first edition basic and advanced modules are paperbacks. I have several of them myself. It's not until the second, maybe third printing of that early game that we start getting the massive hardcover tomes.
Oh, well, I stand corrected. I do, but it's still the way that I feel about it. You know, I understand that maybe somewhere in the past, but
fun trivia fact there for the listeners.
For sure. I like the way that the things are set up. I like that I can give more flavor to the different builds of the Explorer, because I'm redoing it like that, so that I can kind of say, this is what I was thinking when I was putting this together, and I can kind of name them better. I don't have to name powers so generally. They're still useful across the different builds, but I don't feel like I'm naming them one way or another. Just so that they can be used across the entire class. It's nice. It's in that way, like I said, you feel a little bit pampered as a designer. And I don't blame them for liking it, because it's a slippery slope. I started with, I'm gonna do feats this way, or I'm gonna do I can't remember what the very first thing was that I was like, I'm gonna follow. Little descriptions of each of the powers. That was the first thing I was gonna do. I was like, I like that. And it's a slippery slope. And at this point, I've done it all. I've got the Explorer coming out. Basically, it's an Essentials Explorer. Just because I understand where they're coming from there. And also,
can you tell us about some of the at-will stances?
What's that? No. There's none of that. Screw you. Just no, it's still the same class. The format is changing, and I'm rebalancing some of the powers to fit with Essentials. Because whether I like it or not, that's the way that the game is going. And so I need to have it adapt to that, or have the Explorer die. So the Explorer is not a quitter, though. So as you might guess from its name. So the Monster Vault, the book is awesome. The way that they've done the new monsters is great. The tokens are stupid. For the rest of my thoughts on that, go listen to the tome. But that's my thoughts on that. I thought we kind of give all our thoughts, because people are curious what we think about it now that it's out. So that's what I think about it. That's what they think about it. Mazel tov. All right, gentlemen. Anything else we want to add?
If you're not going to use your tokens, can I have them?
You can have all of them, dude. I'm serious. You said I can go down and get an envelope, and you can have them. I'm not.
And then Casey, when you get them, scan them and send me the PDF.
Yeah.
Can do. I'll scan you my Gamma World tokens too.
Oh yes, that'd be awesome.
Very nice. You guys are a bunch of pirating fools and broadcasting.
I'm not pirating.
I'm not pirating him. I'm just giving him a mixtape.
He's just sharing.
This is a discussion for another.
They're going to come
good discussion, but one for another time.
Yeah, let's do that on emerging from the divine news or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and move into the next portion of the show, which is on the In-Psion.
from the coastal masterminds directly to your brain. On the In-Psion.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Because it's time for On the In-Psion. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to On the In-Psion. I haven't used that one before. Can you believe that? All right. So for On the In-Psion, the assassin, completely and perfectly finished for your... never mind. All right. This week we are talking about Assassin by Rodney Thompson. Casey, have you looked this over?
Yes, I have, and it's not nearly as thematically compelling as the non-essentials assassin, but the mechanics look a lot more enjoyable. I like how a lot of the poisons have fluff effects. Like if you drop it into someone's food, rather than dying, they go permanently insane if they're reduced to 0 hit points.
Yeah, dude. That is, by the way,
it introduces.
I was just gonna say that is the thing that makes this the class to play. Which is,
yeah, I mean, who doesn't want to drive the DM PC insane in a game where, oh, you have the DM PC god person? He's mad now.
Exactly. You know, but the way that I have to feel about this, though, is that this is the way they should have done poisons all along. You know, like all poisons should work like this, not just the ones that the assassin uses. I think that's the main thing that's really annoying me about this. Just because
I think it's because this version of the assassin is the poison specialist and knows exactly how to use poisons better than anyone else. It gives them a nice shtick.
I guess so. But
And
I mean, if you're an alchemist,
like
if you're an alchemist though, that feat already sucks. Why not give them something a little cool with it, you know? I don't know. That's my thought on that.
Well, alchemist is kind of cooler if you have that new weapon in the sling category from Dark Sun that you can use to chuck alchemist stuff with.
Oh yeah,
alchemical items.
I remember that. That was cool.
It's the Jetta or something, or the Kachika, or some bizarre combination of consonants.
They had a glove in Adventurer's Vault too that lets you apply poisons really quick too. So yeah, so lots of things that are, you know, basically are what this assassin does. Ryven, what'd you think of it?
Okay. The short version of this is if you want a really good in-depth mechanical explanation of the new assassin, point your browser at squarefireballs.com. It's a guy named Perico. I'm sorry, dude, I don't know how to say your name. He does a really good...
Or Perico.
Perico, I think it's Perico. Does a really good mathematical breakdown of the assassin, both versions. I highly recommend his stuff. My short shtick on this is I don't like... okay, the same thing Casey said. The story behind this assassin isn't nearly as compelling or interesting as the classic assassin. I like the teleport. I like the kind of Nightcrawler thing it has going. This to me feels like another variation of the rogue, but holy cow, is it an incredible rogue. Yes, I will take once per encounter 3d10 extra damage whenever I like it. Yeah, fine. I like that things grab. There's a lot of throws, grabs, pushes. It's a very martial arts kind of looking class without necessarily going crazy onto the monk. I like how the encounter powers, you gain extra technical damage by killing things at 10 hit point remainder or 20 hit point remainder. It's an interesting way of adding 10 damage without actually adding 10 damage. And the utility powers are really slick. Again, they look kind of like rogue powers, a little bit more like with the Silent Stalker and the Nimble Drop. These are some sorts of things I would expect a rogue or a monk to do, but doesn't make them bad. It just makes them kind of unusual given what we've seen for what, at least I think, the assassin is based on what the classic assassin was. Okay. And I would like a little bit more shadow in my martial. But I'll take what I've got. I give it a tentative thumbs up, pending the final release in December.
Yeah. By the way, we didn't really even bring that up. The fact that these guys basically said, "Oh yeah, this is the finished assassin," and then a couple hours later they're like, "Oh, never mind. We're kind of dumb." It's kind of what I caught from that. Well,
so that's my shtick on the assassins.
Yeah, I take it. I'll eat it. Tastes good to me. All right, let's and as I drop from being poisoned. All right, let's go ahead and move into the next portion of the show then, gentlemen. Which is another.
What are we moving into?
But we are moving into martial practices. Wow.
What's the intro line? Do we have one?
The intro line is...
And I'm going to pierce my nipple for...
Jeez.
You there! Don't just look on! Join the fray! Martial practices.
And we're running short on time, so I'm about to fall on my sword for martial practices.
This is like the Riven episode of Awesome. I love it. I hear that.
There's no honor. Oh, wait, well, there was now. Anyway, moving on.
I hear more of that is coming. So, Riven episodes, as it were. Surprise! All right, let's do some martial practices. Todd K wants to set the mood, so it's perfect for this show. So he turns to the he turns to the true masters of romance.
Baby. Hold on to hold back this feeling
so long.
Okay, so he turns to us. All right. I don't think Riven was kidding about that.
You guys cannot appreciate what life is giving me.
All right. So Todd K writes in, great show. Hope to see new episodes soon. Well, guess what, Todd? Here it is. A quick question. The music clip you used during your Divine News intro is really good. Is that just a clip or is there a full-length track? And who is it? I am looking for more music to set the mood in me before games and while writing my campaign. Do you have any suggestions for great fantasy music? Thanks so much for any help you can give. Well, Todd, first off, I'm going to tell you exactly what the name of that music is. It is called Crusaders, and I'm looking for who it's by right now. It's from that's not the name of it. Dang it, what the heck is the name of that one with Orlando Bloom where they're in the crusade? Anyone remember?
Kingdom of Heaven?
Yeah, Kingdom of Heaven. It's from that movie. It's called Crusaders.
Lord of the Rings.
And I don't know who does it. So while I look for that, Riven, what do you do to put yourself in the mood when you're, and he's asking specifically about getting ready for the game itself, not during gaming, which I think is really interesting. I've never really, thought about that in the context of the show before.
No, that's a very good question, and unfortunately I'm the wrong person to ask for this because I think best in silence. So a lot of times, like about a half an hour before I run a game, I will usually just go upstairs and just lay on the bed and just enjoy the sound of nothing and kind of order my thoughts and such. If I'm going to be writing a campaign and I want some kind of inspiration, though, I'll admit I usually turn to video game music, Final Fantasy, Chrono Trigger, Xenosaga, any RPGs that I've played on a console or a computer somewhere. Force Unleashed. What's the other Star Wars? The big Star Wars one, KOTOR, Dragon Age. Any of that kind of stuff, because
Chrono Cross, best soundtrack
music.
ever.
Oh yeah,
down.
More than movies, to me, video games seem to evoke more. I remember more plot line of video games than I do movies, and that's probably just me. I'm sure a lot of people will tell you to go listen to Lord of the Rings soundtrack, listen to the Van Helsing soundtrack. Try to pick songs that will jar specific emotions and memories of adventurous type stuff, but I usually pick video games.
Huh. Well, I listen to whatever happens to be at the end of this show. So that's that music. I'm not quite sure which one it will be, but that's the one that I listen to all the time. So, by the way, Crusaders.
It means you listen to Lady Gaga while you're writing your campaigns. That would explain quite a bit.
Only if it's episode 5, 3 or
something like that.
Something like that. By the way, Crusaders is by Harry Gregson Williams. So go look that up. but I think it would be easier to just search in iTunes under Kingdom of Heaven. So it's about an hour. It's about 1 minute and 40 seconds. So it's good music. Actually, if you want to find out what music we use during the show, the faster way is actually to go to powersourcepodcast.com. Because we have all that listed there. For those of you who are are newer to the show, haven't heard that before, just go to our website. It's actually there's info about everything that we use during the show. So just check it out there. I use some when I'm preparing. I'll use like George Winston. I really like his piano music. And I'm different from Ryven. I use movie soundtracks all the time. I love Indiana Jones, Star Wars. I use every once in a while, but it makes me think of Star Wars, so it's not as good for D&D. Yeah, mostly the stuff that I'll play during a game is the stuff that I'll play when I'm writing too. I do that. So, Ted, when you're writing a game, what do you listen to?
I think I'm a little bit like Ryven. I kind of am more partial to the silence to get my thoughts all in a row and neatly ordered. But when I'm trying to come up with ideas, maybe, when I'm brainstorming, I tend to listen to music I already like. So, I mean, just right. Whatever you like, gets me going. If I tend to like upbeat, peppy music, and it gets me in a good mood and gets me out of my my daily rut, or as it were. So if you've got music that puts you in a good mood, I feel like my creative juices just flow better when I'm in a good mood.
Yeah, I'm gonna just jump on the opposite side of that. I tend to write toward the scene. I keep on needing to jump in because I want to be like, oh, hey, you do it like that. I do it like this. And like all the time I listen to music while I'm writing a scene that I intend to use for that scene. So that way, like, I can almost like plan when I'm going to say certain things. I don't do that very often, but when I have, it's been really effective. Once there were these like desiccated corpses, like these Dolgrims had like basically crucified to the wall with these, or nailed to the wall with these basically Kyber dragon shards, and I was listening to stuff from like Pan's Labyrinth, and so I wrote out descriptions and stuff like that, specifically with that music in mind. It ended up working really well. So I got some very scared looks from my players, which was kind of what I was going for. So yeah, worked pretty good. Ted, wait, I already asked Ted. Casey, are you with us?
I generally don't do most of my planning while listening to... Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay, sorry.
Oh. Okay. I generally don't do most of my brainstorming while listening to or not listening to any particular kind of music. I do my best brainstorming while interacting with a story, either a very story-heavy video game or a really good audiobook. Ender's Game, Discworld, Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time, Brandon Sanderson, all those have given me not necessarily the stories, but little tidbits of things that happen here or there just sort of accumulate in my head and form this story of various plot devices strung together. Like for example, I've been planning my current game's been delayed for about the last month and a half, and in that month and a half I played Fallout New Vegas. And the weird multi-sided conflict going on in there really helped me solidify a lot of stuff that I'm trying to pull off in my next game tomorrow.
Huh. And I love that all four of us were on this episode, because I think we all had such different ideas about this. I think it'll be able to give, number one, it'll give Todd some ideas, and number two, it kind of shows that it's really up to you, that you work with a lot of different things, and whatever ends up working for you, that's the right answer, So it sounds kind of hippy dippy, but there it is. So, anything else to add, gentlemen? And
that would be negatory,
and
Captain.
By their silence, they said no. All right, gentlemen. Wait, who am I going to ask this time? I'm going to ask...
I feel offended for Ryven. There was definitely an answer. There was not silence. And you're a jerk, mister.
What? What did I say? I don't... Oh.
And
I
by
agree
their
with everybody.
silence,
They...
Ryven gave you a definitive answer. He called you
Everyone
Captain.
gives you an answer, and
he
you go,
said that-
and by their silence.
He said that as I was speaking, Ted. Don't insult our
Whatever.
audience's intelligence. They know. They're going to... Actually, the best part is that they're going to hear it from my point of view. So all the lag will speak to my favor, and you guys are going to hear exactly what it sounds like. So, from my point of view, which is, as everyone knows, as Obi-Wan Kenobi would say, is the only point of view that matters. All right. So, and by the way, you're going to laugh at that later. All right. So, gentlemen, and I'm going to ask Casey this time. Do you know what comes next in this here show?
Worlds?
No, we're skipping that this time. Go to the next one.
I genuinely don't know what we're doing next.
Excellent. Ted, do you know what's coming next in this show?
The second half of In the Scion.
No. We're skipping that one. Riven, do you know what comes next?
I do, in fact, know what comes next because you just earned the first attack based on your recent Taekwondo belt, didn't you? You are now a high enough level to deliver one flurry of blow per round, right?
That's correct. That is correct.
All right, that's what we're doing. Flurry of blows, folks.
Excellent.
Bring it on.
Excellent. Hi-ya! All right, it's time for Flurry of Blows, wherein we will flurry all of our blows. It's going to be lots and lots of fun. So, gentlemen, I'm just going to skip the whole explanation. If you don't know by now, you never will. All right, so I'm just gonna jump right in with this, and by jump right in, I mean I'm going to find questions if there are any. Because people sent me them via email. All right, I've got one for Ted. What do you think the gang at Wizards will come up with next to annoy their 4E D&D customers?
I think they're going to come out with essentials, where basically you just take their pre-gen characters and put them into their pre-gen encounters, and they already do stuff because they're programmed to do that for you. So you just sit back and watch.
Whoa. Very nice. Yeah, that sounds about right to me. Casey, drinking poison or accepting a forced marriage?
Accepting a forced marriage, because then you get the forced honeymoon.
Awesome. Riven.
Lord.
Riven, Beholder stir fry or Kuotoa sushi?
I go with the stir fry. I like kind of the hibachi sauce that goes with it, and the extra zucchini and squash.
Tedley, air adventures or underwater adventures?
Underwater adventures, for sure, because I like to swim with the fishes.
Bacasey. This is Bacasey. I love that. Dragonborn sorcerer or human sorcerer?
Dragonborn sorcerer.
Perfect. Awesome. Gentlemen, I didn't put stuff up on Twitter on time, so I'm spent already. So what I have to ask real quick is Ted, do you have any questions for me?
I have exactly 3 questions.
Whoa, that is perfect for this particular flurry of blows.
Yes, it is. I know. And they are all from David Gibson.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you guys don't want your names read out on the show, you guys could put that in it, and I won't read out your name. All right, just for future notice. If you're conscious of that, you don't want me to read your name, just say in parentheses at the beginning, "Don't read my name." All right, moving on. Let's see, Casey. We're going to start with you arbitrarily first. Casey.
All right.
What is the best implement of all time?
Spatula.
Spatula
I would
of
say
awesomeness.
I would say Smithfield implement. I just want to say. Sorry, go on.
Oh. So,
local jokes.
Ryven, what is the best weapon of all time?
Best weapon of all time is your mind.
All right. I guess if you're And Jared,
Yeah.
best animal companion
Of all
time.
The best animal companion of all time is a bobbly-headed monkey. So that's all I'm gonna say. So, the best animal companion, yes, is Ted Baker. That answer comes from Casey. It's not mine. I cannot claim responsibility for that. Any laughs that you may have had, they were his. All right. Ryven, would you like to go next? Do you have any questions?
I do. I have a few. Going with Casey. Casey, Gamma World Origin you would like to actually have yourself?
Electric.
Okay. Ted, first item on your Christmas list this year?
Pile of awesome.
Okay, I don't know where you get that, but maybe you ordered it off of Amazon. Jared, your favorite Christmas song, religious or secular? We'll go either way.
My favorite one that comes to mind right now is Grandma Got Ran Over by a Reindeer, but I know that's completely wrong. Probably Carol of the Bells.
Okay, that seems fair, especially to your grandma, who probably likes the second one better than the first one. Casey, intruder breaks into your house. What is your weapon of choice to fend them off?
Warhammer.
Seriously, you have one of
40K.
those hanging around? Oh, 40, fight them off with the box. I see.
No, actually, I do have a Warhammer in the closet.
Oh, okay, there you go. Ted,
It's a moving away gift for a friend.
I want your friend.
I
don't know
like
who
to
that
use.
was.
I like to use monster tokens personally.
it's like Gil Toss. Ted, you were the star in a movie this year. Which movie was it?
It was definitely Inception.
Really?
I think you were dreaming.
Yes.
Yeah. So were you awake or asleep at the end?
That is classified information.
On a need-to-know basis. Fair enough. And,
Are we awake or dreaming now?
I'm pretty sure I'm dreaming.
Judging from what's upstairs, I'm dreaming.
Whoa. And finally, Jared, go take a cold shower. And who is your favorite Power Source co-host not currently on the show?
My favorite Power Source co-host who is not currently on the show. Oh man, I'm gonna get in all kinds of trouble, aren't I?
Oh yes, you are.
It's probably. Hold on. Dang, this is tough. It's probably either
The listeners.
Okay, listen. Well, see that they're on the show all the time, but they're not. They aren't really guest hosts, so I can't really use them this time. But I love them. Probably either it's either like the Tomes Jeff Greiner or it's Justin Kutch, because I really like having him on the show. So. But
now Dave Noonan is never going to come on the show again.
Well, he isn't coming. I don't know. He's disappeared off the grid, dude. Seriously, I haven't.
He's gone.
Yeah, I haven't heard. I haven't heard hide nor hair from him on his blog or anything. He's just gone. So, although Tim Franska comes to mind too. Dang, I've got a lot of favorites.
Listeners, what we've learned right here is that Jared is trained in both bluff and intimidate, but not diplomacy.
No. That's awesome. That is awesome. You set me up.
I did. The whole thing was just for that line.
That was awesome. Casey, go ahead.
If you could pick an enchanted lightsaber, what kind of damage would it have? Ted.
What kind of damage? It would have icy, flaming damage of electricity.
Fair enough. Ryven. Puppies or kitties?
Puppies.
Jared. What color is your shirt?
Currently white, which is, I understand, a fashion faux pas. So it's after Labor Day and everything. So, by the way, Ryven, did you mean like for dinner? Kind of, you prefer puppies or what? I'm confused.
No, that was just in general, I suppose.
Because if it were for dinner, then I mean, right? It's kittens, isn't it?
No, my wife would not be happy with that. We have 3 cats.
Oh, okay. So, sorry, Casey, I cut you off. Go.
Ted, favorite light fixture?
Favorite light fixture? It has to be...
Favorite.
What? I can't hear you. Anyone there?
Favorite light fixture?
Favorite light fixture would definitely have to be the light fixture at 13 and a half seconds in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
Wow.
Ryven, corded or cordless?
What?
The umbilical cord.
Answer the question.
Corded. I want to know what I'm attached to.
Jared, leopard skin or zebra print?
Leopard skin.
Wait, which Jared? I'm going to counterpoint that and say
like,
zebra.
Power.
Yeah, the Jareds are split.
That's right. I'm called Ted here, aren't I?
Yeah.
All right.
No.
I'm spent.
See.
Okay. Well, there we are. You had something you wanted to say, Ted?
I was just going to say that because I'm most important, that I answered to both Ted and Jared, and that you are now being excluded.
Ow! My new name is Cornelius.
You're just now Mr. Glenn.
You can call me. I have a couple things you could call me, my friend. All right, the master of the power source. Open the gate. All right, let's.
That's my tobacco.
Let's move into the end of the show, guys. We're just gonna fly right into it because we like that. Yeah. All right. So first of all, let me just tell you. Let me send you to a few places, listeners. Let me tell you where you can shove it. I mean, go. www.powersourcepodcast.com. You can find our show notes there. You can download new and old shows, info about the hosts, and forums. You can't download all those. You can just find info about the hosts and forums there. But yeah, anyways, you get it. Powersourcepodcast@gmail.com is where you're going to send your questions, your comments, your segments, and your bumpers. You don't know it, but I am highlighting each and every one of those words as I go down the list. A little bit of Power Source trivia for some reason. You can call the Power line. That is 559-949 POWA! POWA 7692. Call into the Power line, and if you've been thinking about it, just do it. Seriously, there's nothing wrong with calling that line. It is not annoying at all. We like it. So, all right.
And you may or may not have noticed that there was not a Stars Are Right segment on today's show, and that is either because we didn't receive any 5-star reviews or because Jared didn't check them. I don't know which. But we need your 5-star reviews. We love them. We want them. They sustain our life force. So we need them. If you like us, you want to support us, go there and give us a 5-star review on iTunes. If you didn't catch that, iTunes. That's where you need to review. Right. And we also have this really neat Facebook page that is, you can just go to, it's really nice now. It's easy. You just go to facebook.com/thepowersource and it'll take you right there, and you can like us, and you can write on our wall and in our discussion post things, and you can, I don't know, be really cool, like all the other kids that are on there. And yeah, that's us. You can give us martial practice questions and flurry of blow questions. And if you have heard, which some of you haven't, some of you might have, I don't know, Jared has written several classes, and they are being updated for Essentials because he loves Essentials so much. And so the Explorer and the Jester are available at rpgnow.com.
Very nice. Very nice. I believe now I'm going to hand the time over to Ryven. If you'd like to pimp, because that's what the end of the show is for. So those who don't like the pimping, I mean, they just don't listen to the end of the show, frankly. So.
All right, 3 websites for you. The first one, temporaryhitpoints.com, Jeff Griner's blog. I mention this because Jared once again forgot to pimp his own stuff, which is he's doing a bunch of writing for Jeff Griner over there, shifters, alternate shifter class or shifter race attributes. One's like a bear or an elephant or a boar or something. It's pretty cool. It's been a long time since I read it. I remember the mechanics. I don't remember the fluff. That's kind of how I think. But go to Temporary Hit Points. Lots of people write on it. It's really groovy. Second, geekstreamgirl.com. By the time this show hits, my +4 to initiative for December will be up. Go check out your geek horoscope, whether you just laugh at it or find it interesting or whatever. I do it for your entertainment and your amusement and possibly your information, depending on your beliefs of things. So check that out. Also, don't be sad and alone this holiday. Get a hold of E. Have her help you find someone special, because you don't want to be alone over the holidays, and no one here will be, thankfully. Shout out to Becca. And Finally, of course, the At Will blog. We've got a lot of crazy, awesome stuff going up. Again, by the time this show lands, Powerless But Not Penniless Part 4, maybe even Part 5 will be up, talking about wealth themes and ways to use gold in your games that makes things more interesting. We have the serious skills articles that will end up becoming a book. Look for that in Q2 next year. Q2, Q3, somewhere in there, that will be including all the serious skills articles with additional content and a super surprise social combat, a social conflict mechanic. We'll be beta testing that on the site pretty soon. Watch for that end of December, beginning of January. The World Breakers are still going in process, getting those into book form. And whatever else we come up with, which also includes a podcast. Quinn is planning on running a podcast we hosted by myself and himself and ourselves. Me, myself, and Irene, I think, might also be on it. That will be, assuming everything goes well, we'll be starting that up in January. So that will be not the Skillcast, but it will be something new. I don't really know what it is myself yet. He's just like, oh, I gotta do this show. And he'll throw things at me. It'll be great. So that is my pimpage, and if you are in the market, if you happen to know someone who is thinking of adopting out a child, again, please let me know. No hits on that yet, and I realize it's a weird thing to ask at the end of a show, but you know what? This is my platform. It's what I've got. So, yeah, I'm done.
Very nice. Very nice. I look forward to that show. So do you know if you're going to be a part of any particular network? Are you going to do Vorpal or D20?
We will probably end up going Vorpal with our affiliation with Temporary Hit Points, and I will try to yank him toward at least one, if not both networks, but we'll see how that goes. That's not going to be my call,
right?
Necessarily.
That makes sense. Cool beans. And did you have anything you wanted to pimp at the end of the show, Casey?
I do, actually. I am running a play-by-post campaign on my wife's website, linesthroughTime.4motion.com, and I desperately need some more members. I had an entire group just disappear on me. I was running 2 groups, and one of them just never, ever posted. So I'm seeking at least 4 more players. It's a custom setting I've created called Cryon. It's this amazing post-apocalyptic mixture of Gamma World, Fallout, Star Wars, and whatever else you want to add in there. Very open to homebrew and all kinds of other stuff. Be a lot of fun.
What's the post per day rate on that? Like once a day, twice a day, once a week? What do you expect?
I expect no more than twice per week, but a lot of people post, once or twice every other day or so.
Okay, cool.
Cool beans. Awesome. So go and check that out. And you're right. I did forget to pimp myself. Go and follow me on Twitter. That's twitter.com/Lord Dredman, by the way. So I forgot to mention that at the beginning of Flurry of Blows. Kind of important if you want to be a part of that. So, yep. I think that's the only thing I need to pimp at the end of the show. For now, let's do some thank yous. First of all, the D20 Radio Network and the Vorpal Network, who I always mention in that order because it's alphabetical, but whom I both love equally. Very, very grateful to have them have us as a member of their 2 networks. We are a dual network show, and we love it. Big thanks to Justin Kutch for you know why. It's the site, and he does it all, and he's amazing. And, of course, all those of you who send in segments, and even those of you who aren't sending in segments, we thank you so much for considering sending us segments. And right now I'm making you feel guilty. Feel guilty. Send us segments, dang it. All right. So, all right. And you know what? Now that we've done all our thank yous, we've done all our pimping, we've done all the info you need at the end of the show, fellas, we have a show, and we can rub it all over our nude bodies.
Oh, we almost made it. Son of a gun.
Very fun. Very fun. All right. Yeah. So for me, for Ted, for Ryven, and for Casey, we would like to thank you all for paying attention to this episode of The Power Source and wish you all an excellent week in gaming.
Sometimes I miss my Gua'uld.
The words of Edward VII, no, I shall not give in. I shall work to the end.
Sleep well, Internet. I love you all.